What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today I'm continuing the Toronto Maple Leafs 2021-2022 player previews, and this one is Jack Campbell. So if you guys are new to this channel, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Join the squad. We make a lot of videos on the Maple Leafs here and do streams about the Leafs and the NHL in general. So I'd greatly appreciate that. And following me on Instagram or Twitter, it's on the screen right now. But yeah, thank you to all the new subs and all the people who have been here since day one. I appreciate you. But again, I'd really appreciate you guys sticking around here. But Jack Campbell, that's the video we got today. The guy that everybody loves. He is the starting goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Or is he going to be in a tandem with Peter Mrazek and split games? I happen to think that it's going to be one of those seasons where the hot goalie at the time, whoever's winning games, is going to be the one that gets the crease. Now, that seems, easier said than done. But the money that they're paying Peter Mrazek is not just to be a guy that doesn't play all the time. They're paying him over $3 million, nearly $4 million, to come in and play a good chunk of games. And for Campbell, this could actually help him quite a bit because, Freddie Anderson kind of tailed off a little bit. And it is sad because I do love Freddie Anderson. But towards, this a couple seasons, I would say, he really started to just lose the competitive edge that he had over any other goaltender that was behind him. So Jack Campbell came in. He played really well. He started the season off undefeated. He just looked really, really good. And I, for one, was somebody that said that people were ridiculous for saying that Campbell was going to be a starting goaltender because I thought the Leafs were just going to ride Freddie until he completely fell off and they had no other options. But it looks like Jack Campbell is the guy that the Leafs have wanted to go with for a couple years now, and it's looking like it's paying off because he has been playing well and he is really good. He seems really calm and composed in the net. But the only problem is the injuries, and I think that's why Peter Mrazek was brought in. But as you can see, 29 years old, 6'2", 197 pounds. He's a big, he's not the biggest guy, but I mean, 6'2" for a goaltender is pretty big. 29 years old, so still in a good prime age there. He's probably got a few years left of being a very solid goaltender. But this is the first year where you can really look at Campbell and say, this is his time to really try to take over that crease. Now, something that I want to bring up briefly is these playoff statistics. Now, of course, you're going to have goaltenders like Vasilevsky and Price, who played 22, 23 games, who had stellar numbers. And, of course, Price played pretty well against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Fleury and Mrazek and Rask, all these guys who played a decent amount of games. But if you get into this section here, guys that played 8 games, 9 games, 7, 6, whatever, you're going to see Jack Campbell in the middle of this pack as well. But look at his numbers that he had in the playoffs in 7 games. He had a .934 save percentage and a 1.81 goals against. Now, those are some crazy numbers. That is just absolutely incredible. If we're ranking by save percentage here, obviously you can't go to, there's one game, whatever. But he was just incredible. You see some of these goaltenders who are putting up like ridiculous numbers. These are bad numbers, obviously, but Vasilevsky was first, and then Campbell right here, .934. This is a big difference, though. Vasilevsky definitely outplayed him just due to the fact that he played in 23 games. Carey Price as well, you have to put him towards the top. Same thing with Varlamov, because once you play more games, that save percentage goes down. But just looking at the way he played, if he was to continue, even if he was giving you like a .925, man, he was putting up some really good numbers. And that's what's frustrating about these playoffs. The goaltending wasn't the problem. The defense wasn't even the problem. It was the thing that we've been saying wasn't the problem for a long time, and that was the scoring. Excuse me. We got that secondary scoring. We had Nylander as one of the big guns scoring. And Jack Campbell was in the crease playing so freaking well. He was giving the team a chance to win every single game. He looked almost unstoppable in some of the games. Like, he was so freaking good, and they just couldn't capitalize on a series win. I don't know if Campbell can put together numbers like that again, but as a fan, you're hoping if the Leafs get to the playoffs, okay, we've got Mrazek and we've got Campbell who played 7 really good games. against a team that went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, which that's impressive. That is impressive. Montreal, kudos to them. They had a very good season in the playoffs, I should say. Sorry, they had a very good playoff, and they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. And Jack Campbell really backstopped the Leafs in 7 games, and they couldn't get it done. All they needed was 1 goal in multiple games, and they just couldn't get it done. So this is the next part of this video that is going to maybe raise some eyebrows for some people. So Campbell is in the last year of a $1.65 million contract that was signed by the Los Angeles Kings in 2019. At this point, he wasn't solidified, but he was playing really well. If we look at his numbers with the Los Angeles Kings, in the 20 games previously, he had a .900 save percentage, not the greatest, but a 2.85. Previously, before that, in 31 games played, a 2.29 and a .928. So if you can look at all of his numbers here, even in the AHL 2 games, you can't really do much about that. But like consistently playing a bunch of games, even in the playoffs and the AHL, they're really, really good numbers. And then, of course, with the Leafs, he has been putting up consistent good numbers for everywhere he's played. He's been a bit of a journeyman, as you can see. He's been around a little bit, but at 29 years old, this is his opportunity to actually get a good contract. Now, if he comes in and let's say he plays in like 40 games this year, which would be very awesome if he could play in 40 games, 35 to 40 games, that's what you need. And he gives you another like 2.45 goals against and like a 917 to a 920 save percentage. He is easily going to be getting close to $4 million as a cap hit. So then it becomes the case of, okay, are you going to pay that guy that much money? Or do you believe that he's going to be looking for too many years? I don't want to put this into the head of Leaf fans, but when the Leafs signed Mrazek and gave him that extra year, especially at the contract that he's getting, I was a little worried that the Toronto Maple Leafs were going to be like, okay, if we lose Campbell, at least we just have Mrazek for the following years. I'm more comfortable running with 2 guys that I actually think could split the crease and do a good job because Mrazek actually is a good tandem goaltender. And Campbell's proven that he can take over the crease and give you a solid 20 to 30 games, including the playoffs. So you're hoping that that can happen again. But what's Campbell's number going to be after this year? And I hate to bring this up, but with the money situation that the Leafs are going to be facing in the next season, even with $1 million raise on the cap, it's a probably $3.5 million raise. Fair to say $3 million raise for Campbell that's going to be coming if he has a good season. So the Leafs have to be careful here because, and especially if he outplays Mrazek this season, he's going to look at Mrazek's number and they're going to be like, well, he's a $4 million goalie then, because if he's outplaying the guy that you paid nearly 4 to, then why isn't my guy worth $4 million? So it's going to be interesting to see what that dollar amount's going to be come this offseason. But if Campbell has a really strong season and then goes into the playoffs and takes over the crease again, they're going to be paying him quite a bit. And as a Leaf fans, I hope that they make it there. I think everybody wants them to make the playoffs if you're a Leafs fan, or if you just love total chaos, because when the Leafs get to the playoffs, it's either they look really good and then they choke, or they look really good and they choke. There's really no other option. But maybe they'll finally win. Who knows? But you want to see Campbell succeed. So if he's succeeding, more than likely you're going to get team success, which should have happened this year, but it didn't. I'm excited to see how he plays. I'm very confident in the way he plays. Again, I'm no goalie expert, but in terms of being paid to be a goalie expert, but ever since I was really, really young, I was playing goaltender, and I played at not a high level, but I played at a higher level than average. And I've studied goaltending for so many years. Campbell is one of those guys that if you're a defenseman or a forward on that team, you're very comfortable with him in the net. He's always tapping his defenseman, communicating, and that's a big thing that goaltenders, and especially if you're watching this and you're a young goaltender, communicate with your defenseman, your forwards, with your coaching staff, your bench, whatever. Communication makes you a better goaltender. It keeps you calm in the crease, and it lets you know that your players and you are on the exact same mindset. So Campbell does that really well from what I've seen and from what we've heard, because a lot of players talk about it. So it's not like we're just making it up. But let me know what you guys think about Campbell going into this upcoming season. How many games will he play? What will his numbers look like? Because I think he's going to be pretty decent. So if you guys are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Join the squad. I love and appreciate you guys as always. Shout out to Jack Campbell, looking for a big season from the big man this year. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.